January 8th, 2008, Texas. Something enormous crossed the sky, hovered in silence, and vanished at impossible speeds. So what exactly did the people of Stephenville see?
From another dimension, another world.
Changed shapes basically before our eyes when we was watching it and disappeared. So it probably has the ability to do what it pleases.
Could these neon hieroglyphics contain a message?
And here I keep saying that to everybody. Definitely not from these parts.
In the evening, dozens of residents across Stephenville and nearby areas reported seeing unusually bright lights in formation moving silently at low altitudes.
First sightings came just after sunset. Something big, something fast, something weird.
I saw two red glows. They glowed, and then they kind of faded, glowed again.
Leroy Gayton is a county constable. His son saw the whatever, too.
It looked like it was faster than a jet.
It's so fast when it took off, you know, and it made not a sound.
Changed shapes basically before our eyes when we was watching it and disappeared. So it probably has the ability to do what it pleases.
Bright lights approaching, forming into a larger configuration, sometimes even described as an arch or football field sized, hovering and then performing a high-speed maneuver to vanish. Within minutes of the sightings, multiple fighter jets were spotted, seemingly chasing where the object had vanished. First, let's hear from Steve Allen, a licensed pilot and a trucker.
We was at a real good friend of mine's house in Selden, Texas, a suburb of Stephenville, Texas. Beautiful sunset that afternoon. We looked towards the east and saw two strobe lights coming towards us at a very high rate of speed. The closer it got, the slower. By the time it got even with us, probably a half a mile away, about 3,000 foot above ground level, it passed by. We could see the back side of it had quite a few unusual strobe lights flashing, and they reconfigured to a vertical strobe light scenario, and they turned into a flame, and then it just disappeared.
Allen described the object as silent, below cloud level, and unlike any aircraft he knew with his experience as a pilot.
Allen drew a sketch of the object, which he said traveled at amazing speed without making a sound.
An arch shape reconfigured into a vertical shape, and it was up and down, and then it split, made two of them, and then these turned into just fire, and it's gone.
At the same time, County Police Officer Leroy Gayton watched a reddish-orange orb with multiple pulsating lights, hovering low over the horizon.
Last Tuesday night, a week ago Tuesday, around this time, a little later, about 7 o'clock, I came outside to get something out of my car. I saw a red glow. It was a fiery red looking color I'd never seen before. Didn't appear to be too far off the ground. It lit up and it faded and it reappeared right next to where I'd first seen it. I looked back in the sky, didn't see these red glows anymore. Instead, out here in the sky, I'd say 3,000 to 5,000 feet up in the air, I saw several white lights, bright lights. They appeared to be like strobe lights, and they were moving around the sky, not really grouped together. They were pretty far apart, just bouncing around.
Let's take a look at a video taken from one resident, Saber Bowman.
Well, actually, I was at work, and I work outside, so it didn't look normal to me.
Okay, so you grabbed your cell phone. Is that what you shot this on?
Right. Cell phone. That's why the quality's kind of bad. It had lights on the sides of it, and on the top and the bottom. To me, it looked like you really can't tell it till the end of the video. But
and how,
I don't know.
How long
it
did
was
it
gone.
stay? How long did it stay in the sky?
It was probably there for maybe 5-10 minutes.
Huh.
And then we just got to talking about it, and I called somebody, and we took our eyes off of it, and it was gone.
Was it high? Was it a low flying thing? What did it look like?
Well, it was kind of low in the sky. There was a clearing. You can't see it because it's dark, but there was a clearing in between those two. There was a clearing between some trees is where I saw it, so it was kind of low in the sky.
UFO believers thought they would release their explanation tonight. A video surfaced of this UFO sighting by a man who does not want to be identified. It found its way into the hands of Steve Allen, though, who is touting it as the real deal.
I don't know what it is. It don't look like no star to me.
Some UFO spotters in Stephenville think this was what they saw over Erath County the night of January 8th. Steve Allen thinks
That is it.
As always, have to take into account that this was in 2008 in rural Texas. Not exactly the most high quality video, but hard to make out too much in this video.
Look! Y'all look!
We're looking.
Oh my God! Look at that!
Oh my God!
That is awesome!
Holy shit, I'm recording it.
Over, I pointed, pulled over. Look at the lights, man! That is awesome!
Oh my God.
That is awesome!
Oh my God.
I mean, I am seeing it. Disappeared, but then about 16 lights will light up at one time. Like two.
Holy shit.
Come on, come back, come back, come back.
You can see it flicker.
Yeah, you can see it flicker. Okay.
That was it, man. That was the real
That was
thing.
fucking.
No, look, it's hauling out.
Oh my God, I see it.
Yep, it's moving real fast way over there.
That fucking thing's hauling ass.
That truck is up there. I'm gonna pull
Look
up
how
there.
fast it's. Oh, now they're coming back. Oh, they have the lights on.
Holy shit!
Fucking awesome.
That was badass.
Well, I was gonna talk to him.
In the end, dozens of independent reports would come in from witnesses who had seen this potential craft, as well as the military jets that were said to be pursuing this craft. It's claimed that potentially over 200 people reported seeing this craft, and I know it's hard to tell how many of these were legit reports and if any were jumping on the bandwagon.
Steve Allen has been a private pilot for 30 years. He says the object he saw streaking across the sky was going several thousand miles an hour.
Do you think this could be a government aircraft somehow?
They wish they had an aircraft like that. They wish they had something like that. It's for one thing, its speed. It travels in hoovering, and its cloaking abilities. It's not from around these parts.
It's an unidentified flying object.
It's so fast that I can't keep up with my binoculars to it.
And some were embarrassed that it was spotted in Stephenville.
I think it's crazy.
A lot of folks aren't used to this kind of thing, and they're not UFO nuts or anything.
Like it or not, all eyes are now trained on the sky over Texas to see if mysterious flying objects make a return.
All the things reports had in common about this potential craft was it was massive, described as potentially the size of a football field. It was flying low, below the clouds, which would later be confirmed by radar. The craft was both silent and had the ability to hover, according to multiple witnesses. The craft sped off an impossible speed, which also may have been confirmed by radar. And a vital part of the story, the craft was being chased by fighter jets. All this coverage, both news coverage, local, and even nationwide, would cause the military to respond to the claim that they had jets chasing this craft. The Air Force would begin by saying no jets were in the area that night, which was a statement that contradicted the reports of a lot of witnesses. Of course, whoopsie, the Air Force quietly would later admit that 10 F-16s from NAS Fort Worth were flying missions across North Texas, right over the Stephenville area.
But the 301st Fighter Wing at the Joint Reserve Base Naval Air Station says it was responsible. The Fort Worth area base says it's...
But that's not all. It would later be revealed that 2 of the 10 F-16s were redacted in released flight logs. So again, we not only have the Air Force lying that jets were in the area at the same time, but also 2 of the F-16s went on a secretive mission in the area on the same night. Interesting. Also of major note, radar signatures of the unknown targets didn't align with flight paths of the redacted F-16s. We will go more into the specific radar data later on, as it is vital for this case. After the Air Force admitted that their F-16s were in the area, the explanations would of course shift to maybe this was a military exercise, or flares.
Of course, the Joint Naval Reserve Base in Fort Worth is flying missions all the time. They checked their schedule. They were not flying missions last Tuesday night over Stephenville. Their explanation, they think that perhaps a couple of commercial jets had their lights going and it just hit the atmosphere in a strange way and caused a weird glow over Stephenville. But the folks here aren't buying it. They say they saw what they saw.
A spokesman for the 301st Fighter Wing in Fort Worth says no aircraft from his base was in this area. and says the objects may have been an illusion caused by 2 commercial airplanes. But those who saw the lights don't buy it.
It's an unidentified flying object.
It's so fast that I can't keep up with my binoculars to it.
The military now says it was training in the area after all. 10 F-16s over the Brownwood military operating area. Steve Allen, a private pilot, pointed out the gray outlined operating zone on his aeronautical map.
Very clear. Here's Dublin, Texas, which is right on the line. Stephenville, Texas, which is way over here. It's terrible they can't keep any better track of F-16s, 10 F-16s than that. I can tell you where my dog's at right now at the moment.
The military first reported there were no aircraft in the area that night. 2 weeks later, it retracted those claims, saying a training exercise was taking place. Now, some city officials want to know if it was a government exercise, why they weren't notified ahead of time.
I want to know why public officials weren't notified of military activity, a large operation in our area.
City Councilman Mark Murphy has filed a complaint with the U.S. Air Force and the FAA demanding answers.
My main concern is public safety. I want to make sure that if anything like this is going on, that people are alerted.
That, of course, really doesn't align with the witness reports or the data we would soon discover afterwards. During the investigation, it's important to recognize the work of Angelia Joyner. She was on the scene interviewing witnesses and took this case very seriously.
Angela Joyner has written several front-page stories on the various sightings. She says she was somewhat skeptical when she wrote the first article, but not anymore.
The more people that I talk to, people that I have known around town, I'm from Stephenville, and, you know, they're coming forward saying, look, I really saw this too. You know, what in the heck was it?
It's also important to mention that just about a week later, on January 14th, 2008, in nearby Lubbock, Texas, residents would report orange lights moving across the sky in a straight line. If you're familiar at all with UFO lore, you may know about the famous Lubbock Lights case that happened over this town in 1951. Witnesses to the 2008 case over Lubbock noticed similar behavior to the Stephenville case, silent light formations at low altitude. This, of course, raises the question, was the Stephenville event isolated or part of a larger anomalous pattern in the Texas skies that month? All this action would generate an in-depth investigation from MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network. They would put together an in-depth report that combined witness testimony with radar data, concluding that the unidentified radar returns existed and confirmed aspects of these sightings.
In Texas, we average probably 10 or 15 a week, sometimes 100 a month. The last 3 days, I have about 100 hits of UFO reports that are being reported in, and it's because of the Stephenville incident. That's what got us alerted to it. A few people reported in about the Stephenville thing and said we need to come down and look into it.
At midnight, when I go to bed, I just turn the camera on and go to bed, and then I view them in the next morning to see if I see, what animals I happen to catch that. What it is, I don't know. It's going to start moving around.
And we're just going to ask questions of the witnesses and just see exactly what they saw. We're not really here to make a determination on what they saw. We just want to find out and investigate what they did see.
We have them. They're from Wolftron.
What makes this sighting more unusual than others, I believe, is the credibility of the constable. I think is what's really getting things going on this one.
Back, Angelina Joyner remains with us. She's in Stephenville, and here in Los Angeles, Dr. Seth Shostak. Joining us from Denver, Colorado is Glenn Schultz, former U.S. Army radar system specialist. He used the Freedom of Information Act, by the way, to get the radar data relating to the skies over Stephenville and what might have been sighted. And in Austin is Robert Powell, Director of Research for the Mutual UFO Network. He also obtained radar data relating the Stephenville UFO sightings. You think it reaffirms your feeling about UFOs?
Well, the data itself doesn't, but once we interpret the data and analyze it, it reaffirms that a lot of what the witnesses saw is confirmed by this data.
Okay. Could others look at the data and refute that?
Well, I would say that Glenn and I have put in several hundred hours So it would take someone a long time to try to refute that, and I don't believe that they would be able to.
What's in those radar reflections that tells you this isn't aircraft from Earth?
Hundreds of primary skin paint returns which don't fit to any known pattern that we can assign it to.
So are you absolutely convinced?
Well, I'm convinced that there are objects in the air that night that were not traveling with beacons on, that the military is not claiming, the FAA is not explaining what they are, and they certainly fit this scenario of what the witnesses saw. I don't say
It's something secret, but it's not. But why do you think it's extraterrestrials? Really, what I'm asking you.
I didn't say it was extraterrestrial. You're putting words in my mouth. I'm just telling you what the radar found, and the radar found hundreds of thousands of skin paint returns, and a cluster of them right near Stephenville are headed off toward Crawford. I don't see how you can deny that. I don't want to speculate yet, but I'll say this. There's something there that needs to be, questions need to be answered by the Air Force and the FAA as to what was in the sky that night that was traveling without a beacon.
The conviction coming from these radar experts sounds pretty strong to me. Really think about it here. We have a mass sighting of potentially over 100 people or more. The radar experts seem to say that this aligns with what some of the witnesses was saying from their long report. We have the military initially lying and saying that there was no jets in the area, then saying that there were jets in the area and people were probably just getting confused seeing the jets. And then 2 of the 10 jets have redactions on their whereabouts and their mission. At least one track could imply extreme speed, too fast for known aircraft without a sonic boom. I'd like you to grade this case on a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 being a misidentification or a hoax, and a 10 being definitive craft flying over Stephenville. For me, I'm at a 10. I think this happened. I think it's undeniable with the amount of witnesses that we heard from, going along with the radar data as the evidence, adding on with the fact that the military seemed to somehow forget that they had jets in the area with potential jets chasing said craft. To me, this one's a case of there's too much smoke, so I think that there's fire. Whether that equates to an experimental aircraft from the military or a non-human intelligently controlled craft with the military then chasing the object, I think that something happened here. I think it's a 10 and it's undeniable. But I want to know what you all think. Leave your scores on a scale from 1 to 10 in the comments down below. As always, thanks guys so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, I really do. I love hearing people's stories, their sightings, their thoughts on the case. Let me know if you guys have any other cases that you want me to cover, and stay curious. I'll catch you next time.